Okay, good morning and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube. Iyun with Benzion. Today's daf is Nedarim daf Chaf number 20. It's one of the only dafim in the Gemara which actually talk about marital intimacy, which is interesting because I'm also giving a share later on marital intimacy. Talks about it in pretty graphic ways about some of the things you're allowed to do, not allowed to do. I want to jump right into this and bring the Gemara, which seemingly answers four things, which any married person, it has a lot of ramifications for him in the bedroom. About 5 lines from the bottom of Chafam and Al. Malachai apparently talked at this point in the Gemara. We actually talked to Malachim. They told him four secrets. Why do people's children end up lame? Right? They can't walk. They have children that can't walk. They flip around the table. Now, as I mentioned in the regular show, there's three different explanations of what a Hof Shulchan means. The simple explanation is that the wife is lying down on the bed and they're ready for the missionary position, and he flips the wife over and he goes in anal sex. That's one explanation. The other explanation is sort of like doggy style. You know what that is? Even though the man would penetrate the vagina and not through the back. A third explanation is that the woman's on top, the man's on the bottom. Anyway, whatever those three explanations are, they're usher. Not usher, meaning they have bad consequences. You're gonna have messed up children. Ilmin, why do you have children that are mute? They can't speak. You kiss her in the vulva, anywhere in the vulva. So that's it. Your children are gonna be mute. Why do you have kids that are deaf? You talk while you engage in tashmis. Why do you have kids that are blind? You look at a woman's genitals, at her vulva. That is an isser. It's definitely an isser. Otherwise, you wouldn't. If it's something very bad, otherwise you wouldn't have these terrible things happen to your children. So that's what the Gemara says. The Gemara on Chafam and Beis, the Gemara says, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, about 7 lines down. That was the opinion of Yochanan Midahavai. About Amru Chachamim, the Chachamim say, which is the halacha. Ein halacha Yochanan Midahavai. Halacha does not follow Yochanan Midahavai. Ela kol mashal wrote to last beishta also. Whatever he wants to do with his wife, he can do. Mashal basar abam beis hatavach. He buys meat from the butcher. He can eat it any way he wants. Right? Rata lochlo b'malach. He can eat it with salt. Ochlo sli ochlo. He can roast it. He can grill it. Mavushal ochlo. He can cook it. Shalok ochlo. He can soak it in water. It's only a fish that you buy from the fish store. You can eat it any way you want. Now, so the halacha does not follow this. So the Gemara further explains. So who were these Malachi Asharis that were talking to Yochanan and Dahavai? Rabbanan, the rabbis, right? Because if they were really Malachi Asharis, the Gemara says, you have to listen to them. They're very, they have supernatural knowledge. Rabbanim don't have supernatural knowledge. So therefore, in order to say the halacha is not like the Malachi Asharis, if the Malachi Asharis were the Rabbanan, they're similar to Malachi Asharis, right? They don't sin like they're tzaddikim like Malachi Asharis. So yonim like Malachi Asharis. So therefore, you're allowed not to listen to them. But it's not the Malachi Asharis. The Malachi Asharis, they b'ki b'suras of they understand what's going on. They have supernatural knowledge. It doesn't make sense to violate these halachas, to do things which are going to bring your children to have big physical blemishes. So that's the conclusion of the Gemara. The poskim note that we do paskin, not like Yochanan Dahavai, paskin like Chachamim. Now you're allowed to do all of these things, or only one of these things. So that's already a machlokas in the Rishonim. Most Rishonim learn that all the Gemara was saying is that the only heter out of those four things is to flip your wife over. Okay, so that's mutter. Fine, to flip your wife over. But let's talk about that further, right? We gave 3 explanations of flipping your wife over, right? Most accepted explanation is to have bia shalokadarka, anal penetration. So that's mutter, right? But the Ran brings the Rambam, but you can't let out zera. Okay, so what is the Gemara being matter over here? That you can't let out zera, you can just penetrate. I mean, you can do whatever you want with your. The Gemara is answering to penetrate, but not let out zera. Hard to understand. In fact, the Rush and Tosas and Yavamos and Daf Lam and Dalid argue on this Rambam and say that you could to zera anally, which is seemingly what the Gemara is saying over here. The woman were complaining because it's painful for the woman if the man does it anally, even though this is a desire of men. It's a legitimate desire of most men. Um, so the Rambam, the Ran say it's Asher. The Russian Tosos are machmir because it's zer levatala, because you can't have children like that. Even though the halacha is that you can be together with your wife when she's pregnant, it's not going to produce children. This is different. Why is this different? Hard to understand the difference. Anything which is called a bia, in my opinion, as long as it's legitimate called bia, it's called bia shalagadaka, it's still called a bia. So as long as it's a bia, the Torah allowed you. The purpose of being together is not just to have children. Everyone knows. If you listen to the living marriage, we talk about the purpose is to enjoy or unify. So anytime you're having a bia, a valid bia, should be okay. That's why I side with Tosos and the Rush in the Re, actually, in Maseches Yevamos, that it should be mutter, even to be motzi zera in this way, I really think. Of course, the Shulchan Aruch is machmer on everything. That's why it's interesting, the Gemara says, who are the ones that are machmer? Who are the malach and sharis, the rabbanim? The rabbis, because the rabbis are generally machmer on most things. If there's a way to be machmer, there's a way to be machmer. Because at the end of the day, it's actually the Gemara, you're supposed to be like someone that a demon is possessing you to be together with your wife. Even though the Gemara is clear that it's only a gedya that certain big rabbi was making on himself, so he shouldn't come to have adultery with other women. For most people, it should be allowed, and especially when the purpose of the Torah is to enjoy this world, as I've demonstrated many times, not like Christianity. I'm supposed to enjoy this world. So let's enjoy this thing also. So if that's the purpose, you should go to Kula in these things over here. It's not even clear the Isser Motzi Zer Levatala is an Isser Del Raisa. It doesn't say anywhere in the Torah clearly that it's Asr Midol Raisa. If you look in the Gemara in Lamed and Abez and Yavamos, I think it's clear from that sugya that Bia Shalok Darka is Motri even Lahotzi Zera. Okay, so that's one opinion. But there are some opinions, and the most opinions say, as Toso says, the only thing that we changed was that you're allowed to be a Shalok Darka. But Pasha's the Gemara, simple explanation of the Gemara, in Lakas Nair Yacham Davai, he said 4 things. So why are we saying, oh, the only thing you changed around is one of them? No, so the other 3 are also mutter. That's the simple explanation of the Gemara. The other things are also mutter, which include to look at the vulva, to kiss the vulva, and to talk about things during Tashmish, even things that are not related to Tashmish, where it says for sure things that are related to Tashmish, to excite yourself, or to practically talk about how you're going to do it. Even things that are not related to Tashmish are mutter. All these things are mutter. From the Gemara. Further proof is that the Gemara says that if you look, and the Gemara says Akeva is not our heel, it's talking about our genitals, so look at them. So he'll have children that won't follow his ways or be rebellious children. The Gemara says talking about Ishto Nida, when your wife, she's a Nida, when she's forbidden to, you shouldn't look at the vulva. However, it's mashma from the Gemara that when she's not a nida, for sure you're allowed to look at the vulva. So these things which are primal desires of a man, to look at that place, to kiss that place, to do the things, I think all 3 things should be mutter, anally, doggy style, and woman on top, man on the bottom. As I'm talking about in marital intimacy, these things are desires of people, and especially if you're married to the same woman for your whole life, you want to switch it up in the bedroom a little bit to excite yourself. So I think these things, to make on these things, is the right methodology. It's not even make it. The seeming simple explanation like Mars, all the things are mutter. I don't know what you have to say, but it comes out from the Shulchan Aruch, and most posts come to Asr, almost everything possible to Asr, because people are afraid of these things. They're afraid. They're uncomfortable around women. As I mentioned before, it's good to be embarrassed about these maybe before you're married, but after you're married, you have to be comfortable with a woman. You have to know what your need and your wants are, and be able to enjoy a woman. That's what the Gemara says. She's like a piece of meat. You got to enjoy her. Hope you enjoyed today's share. See you in the next one.